The most important geopolitical event of 2025. In the heart of Central Europe lies Poland, one of the continent's most ethnically and culturally homogeneous nations. With over 96% of its population identifying as ethnically Polish and an overwhelming 87% adhering to Roman Catholicism, Poland's internal unity starkly contrasts with the multicultural patchwork seen across Western Europe. This homogeneity is not merely a demographic curiosity. It plays a foundational role in shaping Poland's political identity, social cohesion, and foreign policy posture. A nation built on uniformity. Poland's ethnic and cultural homogeneity is largely a consequence of 20th century upheavals. Before World War II, Poland was home to vibrant communities of Jews, Ukrainians, Germans, Lithuanians, and others. However, the twin shocks of the Holocaust and post-war border reconfigurations, including forced population transfers, effectively transformed Poland into a nation of one dominant ethnicity, one religion, and one language. Today, nearly all Polish citizens speak Polish as their first language, and Catholic traditions deeply influence national holidays, education, and even policy debates. This cultural and linguistic uniformity has created a powerful baseline for political mobilization and nationalistic rhetoric. The homogeneity advantage in politics. Poland's cultural alignment grants it a form of centralized political focus that leaders in more diverse democracies often lack. Politicians don't need to navigate the complexities of multiple ethnic blocs or competing language groups. Instead, they can appeal to a broadly unified national identity, an asset that has fueled the rise of populist and conservative leaders who promise to protect Polish values, sovereignty, and borders. The current presidential frontrunner, Warsaw Mayor Rafał Trzaskowski, stands at the crossroads of this national identity. While he represents a more pro-European Union and liberal urban constituency, he must still navigate the deeply rooted Catholic and nationalist sentiments that dominate rural and suburban Poland. His main rival, Karol Nawrocki, appeals to traditionalists and nationalists who see Polish homogeneity as a cultural shield against Western liberalism and Eastern aggression, a strategic buffer in geopolitical tensions. Poland's internal cohesion becomes especially significant in the context of rising regional tensions. As a NATO member and EU state bordering Belarus and Ukraine, Poland plays a crucial role in the geopolitical chessboard. Its homogeneous makeup allows it to act decisively in foreign policy, unburdened by internal ethnic divisions that might dilute its stance on Russia or Ukraine. This unity has not gone unnoticed. Figures like Vladimir Putin see Poland's rising alignment with NATO and its vocal support for Ukraine as a threat. Should a Western-leaning leader like Trzaskowski become president, Poland could further solidify itself as a frontline state against Russian influence, mirroring the westward pivot made by Ukraine under Volodymyr Zelensky, a double-edged sword. While Poland's homogeneity offers political clarity and national unity, it also poses challenges. It limits the country's exposure to multicultural dialogue and innovation and can foster an insular mindset. Critics argue that such cultural uniformity sometimes breeds suspicion toward migrants, LGBTQ+ rights, and foreign influence, elements seen as threats to Polish tradition. Globalists need Poland, and Putin will oppose. In a world fractured by polarization and identity politics, Poland's demographic consistency may grant it a unique kind of strength, a nation that knows exactly what it is and what it is not. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Poland on the brink. Could the 2025 election spark a civil war introduction, a nation at the edge? On May 18, 2025, Poles head to the polls, but this is not just another democratic transition. With President Andrzej Duda constitutionally barred from seeking re-election, his exit could shatter the uneasy balance that has held Poland's polarized society together. Amid rising political extremism, foreign interference, and deep cultural divides, observers fear that Poland may be inching towards something previously unthinkable in modern Europe: civil war. The Duda factor holding the center with iron and symbolism. Andrzej Duda is no ordinary head of state. To Poland's conservative and rural majority, he represents more than a president. He is a pillar of Polish identity. His defense of Catholic values, resistance to EU oversight, and close alignment with the Nationalist Law and Justice Party, PIS, made him a cultural icon. Though controversial abroad, Duda provided a central figure who unified various factions on the right, from constitutionalists and monarchists to radical populists. His departure has created a vacuum, leaving no clear successor capable of calming the storm. He was the glue. Now the seams are tearing. Two Polands, a nation divided. Poland today is culturally homogeneous but politically bifurcated. Urban elites, especially in Warsaw, Krakow, and Gdańsk, lean toward liberal pro-EU policies, LGBTQ+ rights, and secularism. Rural regions and smaller towns maintain loyalty to traditional Catholic norms, national sovereignty, and skepticism of the West. This divide isn't just ideological, it's existential. Each side sees the other as a threat to the Polish nation. What used to be democratic disagreement has evolved into tribal rivalry. The election, a powder keg waiting for a spark. The frontrunners offer no middle ground. Rafał Trzaskowski, mayor of Warsaw, is a liberal reformist who has pledged to reverse Duda's judicial reforms. Karol Nawrocki, a conservative historian, is backed by the PiS base and frames his campaign as a war to preserve Poland's soul. Far-right parties led by Sławomir Mencen and other nationalist actors are gaining momentum, some even calling for the dismantling of the current democratic system. If Trzaskowski wins, expect a right-wing revolt. If Nawrocki wins amid accusations of authoritarianism, urban liberals may mobilize protests across major cities. Either outcome could escalate into organized resistance, violent clashes, and institutional breakdown. Russian interference, the hidden hand behind the curtain. Russia has already begun exploiting these fractures. Cyber attacks and disinformation campaigns tied to the Kremlin have intensified over the past year. The doppelganger operation continues to flood Polish social media with fake stories targeting both camps, fostering paranoia and distrust. In 2024, a Russian arson operation in Warsaw's commercial district led to mass panic and the expulsion of Russian consular staff. Intelligence reports suggest sleeper cells are embedded in Polish society, ready to activate under the right conditions. Propaganda networks have been detected amplifying both conservative and liberal extremes, intended not to favor a side, but to provoke chaos. Poland is a strategic linchpin in NATO and a major conduit for weapons into Ukraine. Destabilizing it would serve Russian interests in Ukraine, the Baltics, and beyond. Civil war in the 21st century, what would it look like? This won't be a traditional battlefield conflict, but modern civil war rarely is. Consider these plausible developments. Paramilitary formations, far-right militias already exist in Poland under the guise of nationalist organizations. If state legitimacy falters, they could begin policing enemy neighborhoods. City-state fractures, liberal urban hubs may refuse to implement federal directives declaring symbolic autonomy. This could resemble the dynamics of Catalonia in Spain, only with a risk of armed retaliation. Infrastructure sabotage, foreign agents, and domestic extremists alike could target railways, communication networks, or government offices. Mass emigration, Poland's brain drain, could accelerate as professionals flee rising instability, weakening state capacity further. What prevents the fall? There is still time. Poland's institutions remain intact for now, but their legitimacy hangs by a thread. To avoid descent into conflict, election integrity must be guaranteed and seen to be fair. Any whiff of manipulation could be the match that lights the fire. Security services must act impartially. A politicized police force or military will fracture trust beyond repair. Public discourse needs de-escalation. Media outlets should resist inflammatory narratives and promote civic unity. Conclusion: Duda's exit, democracy's test. Andrzej Duda's presidency has always been a symbol of sovereignty, tradition, and a particular vision of Poland. But in his exit, the nation faces a far greater test. Can Poland survive without a unifying figure, or will ideological trench warfare give rise to something darker? The threat of civil war isn't guaranteed, but it's no longer absurd. In an age of hybrid warfare, institutional fragility, and cultural combat, Poland's future may not be decided by ballots alone. Please like, share, and subscribe.
W cieniu krzyża pod biało-czerwoną stoimy dumnie, wierni, niezłomni. Zachód nas kusi złotem i kłamstwem. My za ojczyznę, nie za ich bałwochwalstwem. Nie na kolanach Polska nie zginie. Niech płonie serce w każdej rodzinie. Za wiarę, za ziemię, za ducha i krew. Z liberalnym światem nie zrobimy łez. prawie, a matka z ojcem to zabobon prawie. My mamy przodków, świętych i rycerzy. Niech zachód się błąka, Polska wciąż wierzy. Nie na kolanach, Polska nie zginie. Niech płonie serce w każdej rodzinie. Za wiarę, za ziemię, za ducha i krew. Z liberalnym światem nie zrobimy łez. Nie damy dzieci dla ich dekadencji. Niech swoje mody topią w dekadencji. My śpiewamy hymny, nie ich manifesty. Bóg, honor, ojczyzna to nasze protesty. Nie na kolanach, Polska jak z żelaza. Niech cała Europa nas znowu obraża. My w odpowiedzi modlitwą i krwią, bo Polska to bastion, a nie zachodni dom.